Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
After listening to today's news, you'll know first, a viral AI-generated Reddit post impersonating an Uber Eats whistleblower duped 90,000 users, demonstrating a new era of corporate disinformation. We'll explore how this weaponizing plausibility tactic could transform crisis PR strategies and what it means for the future of legitimate whistleblowing. Second, Chinese AI lab's hyper-efficient model wiped $600 billion from Nvidia's value, but US chip export controls created a critical compute bottleneck. We'll analyze why this is a turning point in the AI hardware race and how it could affect the competitive dynamics between US and Chinese tech ecosystems. Third, Hyundai plans to mass-produce 30,000 Boston Dynamics Atlas robots by 2028, challenging Tesla's Optimus with a Dream Team Robotics alliance. Today, we'll take a closer look at this strategic clash between vertical integration and industry partnership and its implications for the future of factory automation. Fourth, Lego's new smart brick embeds a tiny computer into its classic blocks, creating interactive sets but sparking debate over pricing and the future of imaginative play. In this episode, we'll break down this major shift for the iconic brand and what it signals for the intersection of physical toys and digital technology. Fifth, RuneScape's player CEO let gamers vote to kill a major revenue stream, a move that defied industry logic but sparked a record-breaking resurgence. So we'll discuss why this anti-monetization strategy matters and what it means for the business models of the entire $183 billion gaming industry. A Reddit post that exploded online with nearly 90,000 upvotes, supposedly from a whistleblower exposing a major food delivery app, has just been identified as a likely AI-generated scam. The anonymous user, claiming to be a developer, alleged that a major app calls its drivers human assets, exploits their desperation for cash, and intentionally delays customer orders. The post was so explosive because it confirmed what many people already suspected about the gig economy. What's really insidious here is how this tactic works. Malicious actors are using AI not just to create fake content, but to first analyze public sentiment and identify pre-existing social grievances. Research shows they can then generate personalized, persuasive content that is specifically designed to exploit that distrust. It's a strategy called weaponizing plausibility, and it's why this fake post felt so real to so many people. It was tailored to tap directly into anxieties that were already there. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. When reporters pressed the user for proof, they provided an image of an Uber Eats employee badge. That badge was immediately flagged by AI detectors as inauthentic, and, we can't always rely on these tools. We're in the middle of a massive AI detection arms race. For every new AI model that can generate text or images, developers are racing to build a detector for it. But it's a constant cat and mouse game, and the generative models are almost always a step ahead. Studies have even shown that simple edits or paraphrasing can fool most detectors, which is why achieving a foolproof universal detection system might be a technical impossibility. Uber itself then delivered the final blow, confirming a crucial detail. Uber Eats branded employee badges for engineers do not exist. The deception didn't stop there. When another publication began questioning a purportedly internal document from the so-called whistleblower, the user promptly deleted their Signal account and vanished. So the thing is, these AI-driven hoaxes aren't just for causing chaos. There could be strategic and frankly sinister motivations here. They're being used for everything from market manipulation, trying to short a stock by spreading false rumors, to running test campaigns for political disinformation. For example, in 2023, a fake AI-generated image of an explosion near the Pentagon caused a brief but very real dip in the stock market. This isn't just an online prank. It could be a new form of financial or political warfare. The industry's response was swift and severe. DoorDash CEO Tony Xu publicly denied the appalling allegations, stating on X, "I would fire anyone who promoted or tolerated the kind of culture described in this Reddit post." An Uber spokesperson was just as blunt, telling The Verge, "Not only are the claims fake, but they're also dead wrong." This immediate, high-profile public denial points to a new reality for corporate crisis PR. The threat of AI-generated smears has completely changed the game. In the past, companies might have issued a careful, delayed press release, but now, with a fake story able to circle the globe in minutes, executives like Tony Hsu are using platforms like X to get ahead of the narrative in real time. It's a high-stakes strategy to fight fire with fire. This wasn't just a simple online hoax, it was a powerful demonstration of how easily AI can be used to generate viral disinformation. A single fake post, expertly crafted to prey on public distrust, successfully fooled tens of thousands and forced the biggest names in the food delivery industry to publicly defend themselves against an enemy that was never real. But the real fallout from this isn't just about one fake post. It's about what's known as the liar's dividend. Every time a fake whistleblower is created by AI, it gives powerful people and corporations a new tool. It makes it easier for them to dismiss legitimate criticism and real whistleblowers by simply saying, oh, that's just an AI fake. We've already seen public figures try to claim that real incriminating videos of them might be deep fakes. This erodes our trust in everything and makes it harder for the truth to come out. This hoax wasn't just about a fake Reddit post. It created a shadow of doubt that could be used to cover up real wrongdoing in the future. From the weaponization of AI in social media, we now turn to the global arms race to build it. A Chinese AI lab, practically unheard of, dropped a model that sent the market into absolute panic mode, vaporizing nearly $600 billion from Nvidia's market cap in a single day. Actually, the panic wasn't just about the technology, it was psychological. The AI industry had a story it told itself that building top-tier AI requires massive, expensive infrastructure. DeepSeek shattered that narrative by claiming to achieve similar performance for a tiny fraction of the cost, reportedly just over $5 million compared to the $100 million or more spent on models like GPT-4. This is what truly spooked investors. It wasn't magic, it was smart engineering, a mixture of experts' design and lower precision compute driving that cost collapse. The bombshell release, called R1, came from a lab named DeepSeek. It instantly shattered the global narrative that China was 9 to 12 months behind the US in the AI race. Now, R1's performance was stunning on specific academic benchmarks for things like math and coding, but later, more comprehensive evaluations suggested that in broader real-world applications, it still lagged behind the top US models. This highlights a growing debate about whether these public leaderboards can truly predict a model's real-world impact. After all, good enough can be good enough for business, and R1 was proof of that, even if it wasn't universally superior. The fear was palpable. If a cheaper model could match the world's best, the demand for expensive US infrastructure could collapse. Stocks for chip makers Nvidia and Broadcom both plummeted 17%, but then the shockwave stopped. DeepSeek released 7 more updates and the market barely flinched. What really brought this to a head was the next development. While the world braced for the next big hit, DeepSeek ran into a wall, facing a critical bottleneck, limited compute. This became a real-world test. Can brilliant software and algorithms make up for a massive hardware disadvantage? For now, the answer seems to be no. Research shows that while DeepSeek's algorithmic tricks made them super efficient, it wasn't enough to overcome the hardware gap completely. Efficiency is a weapon, but it isn't a shield when the hardware and tooling are scarce or fragmented. US export controls on advanced chips have hit their mark. Reports indicate DeepSeek even delayed its next major model, R2, due to challenges training it on homegrown Huawei chips. It wasn't just about the raw power of the Huawei chips either. The bigger issue was the entire ecosystem. Developers are used to Nvidia's mature CUDA software platform, which has been the global standard for years. Shifting to Huawei's less developed Ascend and CAN platform proved incredibly difficult, with reports of hardware instability and immature software tools. In fact, DeepSeek reportedly had to switch back to using Nvidia GPUs for the heavy-duty training. Ecosystem maturity can be as decisive as raw flops or energy. As one expert put it, if you want to build advanced models, you need access to advanced compute. DeepSeek itself admitted to certain limitations when compared to frontier closed-source models. While DeepSeek struggled, US tech giants went on the offensive. OpenAI unveiled GPT-5, Google launched Gemini 3, and Anthropic released Claude Opus 4.5, all reaffirming US leadership. And Nvidia, it didn't just recover. It became the first company in history to hit a staggering $5 trillion valuation. So even as the bigger isn't always better narrative gained momentum, scale plus polished ecosystems reasserted themselves, at least for now. However, if you zoom out, you'll see another layer of strategy at play. DeepSeek is signaling it's gearing up for another major release. Some experts believe their next move could be open sourcing its cost-saving training techniques, essentially giving away the recipe. If that happens, the curve of Chinese open source adoption, which already jumped from 1% to nearly 30% of the global market in months, could steepen dramatically. Experts are warning that the calm won't last. According to Dan Ives of Wedbush Securities, the market should prepare for more shocks to come. His final word on the matter, there will be another DeepSeek. We were just talking about the hardware that powers AI's brain. Now, let's shift our focus to the hardware that gives it a body. Believe it or not, by 2028, Hyundai plans to be mass producing 30,000 humanoid robots every single year. And these aren't just any robots. This is Atlas from Boston Dynamics. You've seen the viral videos of it doing backflips and parkour. Now it's ditching the dance moves for the assembly line. Interestingly enough, Atlas and its main rival, Tesla's Optimus, represent two completely different philosophies. Atlas is the super athlete. It's built with sophisticated hydraulics and custom 3D printed parts, making it incredibly agile but also very expensive. Optimus, on the other hand, is designed for one thing: mass production. It's lighter, uses more common materials, and is built to be affordable enough to deploy by the thousands. Starting in 2028, these fully electric robots, capable of lifting up to 110 pounds, will be put to work building cars in Hyundai factories. This move is a direct challenge to rivals like Tesla and its Optimus robot. While Tesla has ridden a wave of AI hype to a market capitalization over 15 times Hyundai's value, it's Hyundai that's on the verge of putting its advanced robot army into mass production. This is all part of Hyundai's attempt to rebrand itself from a car company into a robotics and AI powerhouse, just like Tesla. While other automakers are focused on self-driving cars, Hyundai is making a much broader bet on general-purpose robots, hoping it will finally get the tech company valuation that has eluded it. But that's not the whole picture. Hyundai acquired Boston Dynamics in a deal that valued the company at $1.1 billion. Despite its online fame, Boston Dynamics has consistently lost millions of dollars annually. This isn't just a tech demo, it's a high-stakes, billion-dollar gamble to finally make their world-famous robots profitable. And the stakes are enormous. A humanoid robot like Atlas could have a base price of over $150,000, but the total cost to get one working on a factory floor, including integration, software, and maintenance, could easily exceed $1.5 million. The calculation Hyundai is making is that a single robot working 24/7 could potentially replace 3 human workers. At an average salary of $50,000 each, that's $150,000 in labor savings every single year per robot. If they can make the math work, the payoff is huge. Hyundai says it envisions a harmonious collaboration between humans and robots. But achieving that harmony is incredibly complex, going way beyond just programming a robot not to bump into people. There are now incredibly detailed safety standards, like one called ISO, TS 15066, that specifies the maximum force a robot can exert on 29 different parts of the human body before it causes pain or injury. They've literally defined the pain threshold for a robot touching your neck versus your forearm. Beyond physical safety, there's also the psychological impact. Studies show that human workers can experience significant anxiety and stress if they start to perceive the robot as a competitor rather than a collaborative tool. With Atlas designed to take over repetitive motions and heavy loads, this move shifts the robot from a research project into a potential terminator of factory jobs. For years, we've watched these robots as entertainment. Now, with backing from partners like Google's DeepMind and Nvidia, Hyundai is betting that the era of viral robot videos is over. When we place Hyundai's partnership approach alongside Tesla's all-in-one vertical integration, the strategic battle becomes clear. Tesla is designing the hardware, the software, and the AI entirely in-house. Hyundai, meanwhile, is building what you could call a robotic dream team. Boston Dynamics for world-class hardware, Google's DeepMind for the advanced AI brain, and Nvidia for the processing power. It's a classic clash between an all-in-one approach and an alliance of specialists. The era of the robotic workforce has officially begun. From million-dollar industrial robots, let's turn to a piece of tech so small it fits inside a single Lego brick. Lego just dropped what it's calling the most significant evolution in its history, a claim it hasn't made in 50 years. The company has unveiled the Smart Brick, a tiny computer smaller than a single Lego stud that fits entirely inside a classic 2x4 brick. This is a genuine engineering marvel. It isn't just a simple chip. It's a custom designed processor, an ASIC that has to be durable enough for play, manage power, and fit in a microscopic space. The miniaturization challenge here is on par with what companies like Apple face when creating their wearable devices. It's a massive technological leap for a toy company. These new bricks are wirelessly charged and they create a Bluetooth mesh network, meaning they know where other smart bricks are. The first sets are for Star Wars, and the implications are huge. When a TIE fighter gets close to an X-Wing, they can actually battle. Lightsabers will hum with sound. This brings up a fascinating debate about the very definition of play. For generations, the humming sound of a lightsaber or the pew-pew of a laser cannon came from a child's own imagination. Research shows this kind of unstructured, open-ended play is critical for developing creativity and problem-solving skills. The big question here is whether these pre-programmed sounds and reactions enhance play or prescribe it, potentially limiting the very imaginative freedom that made Lego a global icon. Sit Emperor Palpatine on his throne and the Imperial March begins to play. The bricks have motion sensors, so if a ship is flipped over, the engine sounds change to crashing effects. But this revolution comes at a price. The new Star Wars sets are significantly smaller than previous versions, yet cost more. A 473-piece TIE fighter will run you $70, while a set with 2 smart bricks will cost $160. The situation presents a fascinating duality. On one side, you get groundbreaking interactive technology, while on the other, you get a smaller physical product for a premium price. This puts Lego in a tricky position. They risk creating a walled garden within their own universe, where new, expensive sets don't fully work with the billions of bricks people already own. It brings to mind the Toys to Life craze from a few years ago, Skylanders and Disney Infinity. They were hugely popular, but eventually crashed because consumers got tired of the high costs and endless new accessories. Lego is betting it can succeed where they failed. And this isn't just a Star Wars gimmick, as the company has confirmed there is no camera and no AI. Speaking of which, that no AI statement is a massive strategic decision. In an era where every company is racing to add AI, Lego is deliberately stepping back. This is likely a direct lesson learned from the failure of ambitious AI toys like Anki's Cosmo Robot, which was too expensive and complex for its own good. By avoiding AI, Lego is making a powerful statement about prioritizing child privacy and keeping the play experience simple, something many parents are asking for. There are unconfirmed rumors that the next line to get this technology will be the highly anticipated Lego Pokemon sets. Lego also quietly piloted these bricks in a Lego City set back in 2024, signaling this is a long-term system-wide overhaul. Here's where it gets interesting for the dedicated fans out there. Because these bricks have updatable firmware and Bluetooth networking, there's huge potential for the hacker and adult fan of Lego communities to work their magic. Lego has a history with this, starting with their Mindstorms robots, where the fan community reverse engineered the product and Lego eventually collaborated with them. It's very possible we'll see a homebrew scene emerge, creating custom sounds and functions that Lego never even imagined. This isn't just a new toy, it's a fundamental shift in how one of the world's most iconic brands sees the future of play. The company itself promises this is just the beginning, stating that Lego Smart Play will continue to expand through new updates, launches, and technology. Lego is betting that new tech will justify higher prices, but speaking of business models, a gaming company just did something that defies all modern logic. They let players vote to kill one of their own major revenue streams. Let's start with a single fact that might just change your perspective on this industry. The modern gaming world, a $183 billion behemoth, is built on in-game purchases for giants like Electronic Arts. It's not a side hustle. It's the majority of their revenue. So for a company to willingly turn this faucet off is unheard of. The game is RuneScape, a classic from the 2000s, and its new boss is making moves that defy industry logic. The CEO, John Bellamy, a player for 20 years himself, put the game's in-game purchases up for a vote. This isn't just a PR line. Bellamy's background as a player CEO is key. We've seen this before with Naoki Yoshida, who famously saved Final Fantasy XIV by putting player experience first. The idea is that a leader who truly understands the game's soul can make decisions that data-driven metrics might miss. Gamers overwhelmingly chose to get rid of them. This decision brings both financial risk and comes with a potential long-term reward. Bellamy admitted the risk, stating, "This comes with real financial ramifications." To give you a sense of the scale, just a few years ago, about 1/3 of all of RuneScape's revenue came from these microtransactions. But he immediately followed up with the strategy with a 10-year or 15-year view for the business. My gut says this is totally the right thing to do. And his gut seems to be right. This gamble has triggered a massive resurgence. The 25-year-old game just hit a historic milestone, 240,000 simultaneous players, the most in its history. Now, get this, from a technical standpoint, they're essentially performing digital archaeology, running old school RuneScape on a backup of the game's code from August 2007. Every new update has to be carefully polled and approved by 75% of the players, ensuring the nostalgic feel is never lost. Paid memberships have surged by 30% to well over 1 million. Bellamy claims that old school RuneScape is now the fastest growing MMO in the world right now, a comeback he himself describes as bizarre. This is the result of a deliberate strategy from developer Jagex, ditching the mechanics that pressure players and instead investing in the game's integrity. And that isn't just a buzzword, it's a full-on war against the game's shadow economy. We're talking about sophisticated bots that use AI to mimic human players and real-world traders who disrupt the entire economy. Jagex is deploying its own machine learning systems and has even teamed up with community-run projects to fight back. Since January, they've banned over 740,000 bot accounts and removed nearly 20 trillion gold pieces from illicit traders. That's what rebuilding trust looks like. As one fan on Reddit put it, this is what actually investing into the game's growth looks like. This isn't just a story about nostalgia. It's a high-stakes bet against the entire modern gaming industry, sacrificing short-term cash for long-term loyalty. And so far, that bet is fueling a record-shattering comeback for a 20-year-old game.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.